Created by two veterans of seasonal holiday movies, the 2012 holiday action film Christmas Twister has all of the store-bought decorations cluttering the frame you would expect on Hallmark or Lifetime, combined with all of the poorly rendered CGI death scenes and suspicious lack of blood you would expect on Sci-Fi or Tubi. And then thanks to a Z storyline about a cardboard nativity scene, you can also find this one on PureFlix, oddly enough. If that's where the bar is set to win the approval of evangelical Christians, then I might be the second coming of Christ. Think about the parallels. I was born within dangerous proximity to farm animals, and every year on my birthday, 3 old guys fly in from out of town to give me presents. At least 2 of them seem like kind of wise men. I mean, that third guy didn't even know what his own herpes sores looked like. Oh, and then he tried to play it off like that was his gift. I was like, okay, your buddies brought frankincense and myrrh, hopefully in the form of cold-pressed oils for their itch-soothing properties. But before I figure all of that out, let's dive into this painfully weak and sometimes misspelled movie about a couple of small tornadoes that simply cannot stop lifting empty vehicles into the air, signs that are constantly falling over, and a whole array of helplessly dumb citizens getting trapped without injury. Okay, the global temperature has risen a lot over the last decade, so this disaster scenario kind of sounds like a walk in the park now. Call me when those tornadoes meet up with a forest fire that angers a swarm of murder hornets who are all infected with COVID, and then I might break a sweat. Until then, it's time to put the Christmas back in mass destruction with a holly jolly cyclone installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV movies, and other content we find on the web, and we crack it into segments like your morning weather forecast to see, is that a cold front coming in, or does warm weather make the rain? I don't know how weather even almost works. It's like there's wind or there's no wind. And in this case, there's wind because tornadoes are coming. But before we get into all of that low budget disaster, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more sci-fi or horror content throughout this year. Also, make sure you click that subscribe button. That way you always get the notifications when I upload new videos, 2 a week. Also, I've got merch and a Patreon. I don't want to waste any time, so let's just dive in to the cold open where we meet this rootin' tootin' Texas family who's just stopping for some gas.
I'm hungry.
Why don't you and your mom go to diner and get yourself a slice of pie, okay?
I feel like that fully SAT prepped 16-year-old is just a little too old to be entertained by a pinwheel in a car ride like that. But then again, like anything that's been widely known about for centuries, it would only take one viral TikTok to make that the trendiest Gen Z discovery since powder foundation. Have you ever noticed teenagers will make TikToks and be like, oh my god, you guys, I just figured out this really cool trick where you can freeze water into cubes that keep your drink cold. Follow for more life hacks. Like, no. But don't worry, because this is only the first of many times throughout this script where it seems like the actor on screen is drastically older than the character that was scripted. And I really hope you enjoy that as much as I seem to. This movie takes place in Texas, so that's why he said, why don't you go and get yourself a slice of pie? I'm pretty sure it was shot in Los Angeles, so everyone's doing their best Texas accent, which I guess just means like the southernest. Granted, I don't really have any distinguishing characteristics between my different southern dialects. It's all basically Appalachian inbred for me. No offense to people living in Appalachia. I just saw Deliverance and it turned me on. I'm just kidding. But you know, didn't not turn me on, just saying.
What is it, Mom?
I don't know, Jean Jacket Jackie. Do you think that I'm fluent in what different buzzing noises mean? You're a young person, check your phone for the news. Or summon the answer on that pinwheel you were staring at for 3 hours in the car. Your father and I just assumed you've been microdosing. The one thing you know about the storm coming is that it's always preceded by a gentle fan knocking something off of your costume. Oof, that hat hair. Does this tornado come with a diffuser attachment by chance? I'm so used to watching the overly polished looks on Hallmark Christmas movies that I forgot how distracting it can be to watch something like this, where it seems like the most experienced hairstylist on set was an oscillating fan or a leaf blower. But we look up at the sky and we see a storm brewing, so we're on.
We gotta get out of here. There's an old shed in the back.
All right, why don't you go wait in that shed out back, and then when the storm's over, you can call us from the bog you land in 3 towns over and let us know. Not to argue with the tornado expert wearing that headband, but how is an old shed better than this present day restaurant that we're in, this modern structure? At least this one has a foundation, sis. There's a freezer, it's surrounded by concrete. Oh well, restaurant patrons, follow that server to certain death. If there's a national emergency and there's like people screaming to follow them, that's the last place I'm going. Everyone follow them, yeah. I'll go where everyone else does not go. You can just really tell that there was no hairstylist on set. I'm seeing so much air dried hair. Like, okay. The way they came down and hit their mark in front of that diner, I thought they were going to have a dance-off with the tornado. The director said, run for your lives, but first come downstage for a beat. I have this idea that's gonna look really cool in the trailer. And for this kind of movie, that's all that matters, just to capture a couple dozen more of those sweet, sweet Pure Flix streams. They all come down and they're like, ah, ah, ah. Stop touching each other, go to shelter.
Hurry!
Get in here! Hurry up! Hurry up!
Quick, everyone pile into this flimsy shipping container next to a giant cactus that will shred us up like Taco Bell lettuce. I'm confused because this movie is a bona fide love letter to Texas, as well as the unspecified city that it takes place in. Couldn't somebody from the art department have looked up that giant saguaro cactuses are not native to that state? Someone needs to fly that out and run and get us either a triangle cactus or like a prickly pear from the nearest unendorsed garden center and home improvement store. And you have to carry the cactus here with your bare hands because this movie cannot exist without great suffering. This tornado and its brother throughout the movie, they have really one trick. No, I would say 3 tricks. Lifting a person up, lifting a vehicle up, and knocking signs onto people in a way that doesn't quite hurt them. It just traps them somehow. So get ready for that. Is that explosion trying to pull the door open? Also, any other adults in this sardine can want to help him out? No? If you want to volunteer, just find the guy who's playing tug of war with Mother Nature right now. He'll let you know what to do. Also, this kind of mirrors the first scene of the movie Twister a noticeable amount, where the little girl, who I think grows up to be Laura Dern, or is that Bonnie Hunt? Laura Dern. Laura Dern or Bonnie Hunt? Who was in, no, not Bonnie Hunt, Laura Dern. Laura Dern as a little girl, her dad gets sucked away by a tornado when he's holding the basement door shut. I loved, hated, scared of that scene as a kid. And this is basically the same thing.
Is it gone?
Your mother's lipstick? Yes, I'm afraid so. She's completely chewed it off, but for a final ring of cherry red pencil. But frankly, I prefer this level of makeup realism over the perfectly concealed skin and recently curled lashes of the women in other disaster movies. Like, the women always look amazing in Roland Emmerich films, who directs a lot of disaster films like 2012, The Day After Tomorrow, or Independence Day. This guy really likes dates. Days and dates, he said. We're all gonna die and it's gonna be on a day, we know that. So I'll make a movie about it. Once the storm passes and nobody is injured, the man steps out to survey the wreckage, and it is just as we feared. Okay, I was on board with A Christmas Twister, but what's a Christums? I mean, I like that it still has the word Christ in it, but it's still dangerously close to the name that I copyrighted for the delicious new snack cracker I invented, called Crispums Twisters. It's like a Wheat Thins, but in a fun spiralized rod shape, inspired by the sex toy that ruined my life. My looks like spaghetti squash this Christmas. That's what my true love gave to me. Also, I watched the version of this on Pure Flix, and the title card still has an alternate title for this movie called F6 Twister, which I'm guessing is the name they gave it for when it releases or plays outside of the Christmas season. They can kind of downplay the Christmas theming. Although once you start watching, that's impossible since they put some garland and red mugs, and like even the forks and knives are red at certain points. It's like, we get it, it's Christmas. There are certain certain points where like they just take a movie and then change like 6 lines and redecorate every scene to make it Christmassy. Which, like, wouldn't you want a Christmas movie where Christmas actually plays into the plot somewhat? It doesn't here, but that's okay. After that late night disaster at 11:30, we go to our main character Ethan being woken up in the night to find out about the storm. Shortly after him waking up is his wife Adelaide. Is that her name? That can't be. Addison. I was close. She's a reporter, so she's also gonna have to jump on the news of this new storm.
Happy anniversary.
You need to brush your teeth.
Oh really? Because your mouth is Listerine fresh right when you wake up, although you do need to wet wipe those armpits. Between that and your vagina sweat, I don't know what smells more like a fancy grilled cheese this morning. So how about that, lady? How about that with your brushing teeth? This is the kind of passive aggressive remark someone makes when they've decided they're going to break up with you before New Year's. They don't want you to be completely blindsided by it, so they start acting mean as much as they can. None of these jokes are from personal experience, by the way. I swear that smell is because I just cooked a fancy grilled cheese near these pants like 5 minutes ago. It doesn't take long to see that this couple has problems. Although I just realized that today's their anniversary as well as 2 days before Christmas Eve, December 22nd. The fact that it's their anniversary never once comes up again.
Look, I know we have our problems, and he's funny and charming.
Yeah, we do have our problems. It's true. But that is not one of them.
It's mainly that you put a fully lit Christmas tree in our room and won't turn it off to let me sleep. My body clock registers that as 24-hour sunlight, and it keeps shutting down my immune system. That's another thing I love about Christmas movies is they put 3 Christmas trees in every room. They're like, have you ever built a space with a tree in your house? Because that's the easiest set decoration we got. And it does make sense, like you just buy 6 pre-lit trees, and then any set you go into, you're like, all right, I need an art assistant to go set up a huge tree in each corner, and we're half done decorating. Ethan, the scientist, goes and says bye to his kids. He's got a teen daughter who's into her phone, and then a little son who looks pale, like he's constantly in one of those chocolate milk commercials from the 2000s. The kid is grounded because he just used his dad's tools to make this awesome scene. Okay, this is the first accurate depiction we've seen of the baby Jesus, who historians now believe was a large hard-boiled egg. It's true, his Hebrew name was Humpty Dumpty, that's what I heard. That story sounds ridiculous to you? Then it's a good thing the government isn't using it as the basis to prevent pregnant people from doing what they want with their bodies, especially in a country that brags about operating separate from any religious body. Oh wait, I guess a little bit of that is okay, as long as we're basing it on the majority beliefs of the white colonists who stole this land. Since they had so many other great ideas, like putting leeches on their ass to suck the tumors out. Ethan winds up at his university job where we meet the other team of his, I'm like looking at the monitor and I learned that this looks cool a little bit, so I'm gonna be doing that a lot today. Does it look cool? Pop, 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 poker face, pop, pop, poker face, pop, 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 poker. Let's meet the team.
I have the reports on the storm last night. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I feel like the realism of fumbling those papers took a backseat to the actor Madeline Deutsch, who plays Chloe here, trying to bring a character to life that was scripted as the girl from Mythbusters if she had a baby with the nerdy chick from NCIS. And yes, that is Madeline Deutsch, as in the sister of Zoe Deutsch from Zombieland 2, The Politician, and funnily enough, a 2011 episode of NCIS. Acting. This is where I was like, wait, all feels really familiar. And I realized that the 2015 movie San Andreas has a kind of similar setup where Paul Giamatti's character is like a university seismologist. Oh, liquid. If you don't have triple beverages open, then you can suck the shit out of a toilet for Christmas. Paul Giamatti has his like team of ragtag younger scientists helping him spread the word about the disaster to warn like California to evacuate. But it's just weird because this movie came out 3 years before San Andreas. Weirdly. So many of these ideas feel like they were stolen from San Andreas that I almost feel like it was the opposite, and somebody on the team for San Andreas saw this little movie and took a lot of inspiration. I'll point out some more spots for that, but it could just be that these disaster movie tropes are all blurring together so much that even San Andreas was using a lot of cliches from that genre. So I haven't seen all disaster movies, obviously, so you have to let me know if the tropes that I'm pointing out are possibly stolen from, like San Andreas stole it from this movie, or if there are earlier preceding movies that kind of established that archetype. Either way, here in the lab, we all have fun. We have so much fun, even when we're talking about science.
Did I tell you about playing games in here?
Hey, Doc. How's Christmas like tornado season?
How is Christmas like tornado season?
Well, you get a tree in your living room.
Good one, evil twin who killed his brother in the womb. But just know, if getting a tree in your living room is an innuendo for using some type of wooden dildo, I would prefer that for the season, we use the more traditional phrase, putting a Yule log in the stocking. It doesn't matter if that makes it sound like poop. That's natural, and it's Christmas. That's the meaning of Christmas. Poop in your stocking. Poop in your hole, which looks like a stocking. Well, they get it, Nick. We'll wrap that one up. Here's the thing about drinking coffee while I'm talking. It makes me talk more than I'm talking. So just a word on the casting here. So far, I like it. I think all of the actors do a very competent job in this movie. I never find myself distracted by any of the performances, and many of these actors have pretty solid TV careers, so that's fine. The lighting is not artful at all. I mean, everything looks a little washed out to me. I just feel like where cinematography is really fun is when we're painting with light, you know, adding splashes of color to give depth and dimension to the scene or build a mood or realism. I feel like the way you would see this set kind of improved in a bigger budget movie is like lots of levels, you know, like I would want glass dry erase boards that people can write on and be moving around from. I would want big screens up here that they can stand and be looking at. Those are the kind of things you can add on when you have extra money to throw at your set design. But here, you know, they're clearly working in a practical lab location and it's good. But barring the ability to construct a set or buy custom props, that's where you really can use light as your best tool to create an interesting looking location and make things stand out from if they're just like an average looking university school type of deal. So Chloe is trying to get the ropes of all of this storm business.
Here you go. The Dublin Twister was confirmed at 132 miles per hour.
Well, F2 in December.
F2, is that bad?
I mean, did you even Google storms before you started this internship? Oh, your character was just created so that the more experienced and intelligent men in the movie could explain things to you for the sake of the audience. Merry Christmas to all women. I love how you used window paint to make that glass ceiling look snowy. That's so cute of you down there. And it's inspiring to see how much you can do with those 30% lower salaries. Love ya. Madeline Deutsch has also gone on to act in a lot of things. She's like 132 miles per hour. Like, why are you emphasizing the 2? That's the smallest digit.
Is there anything bigger, like an F6?
Well, that would have to be, I don't know, 318 miles per hour?
That's like a nuclear bomb going off.
Oh my God.
Oh, Batman, how good of you to show up. But where did Dr. Walker go? In addition to that forced vocal gruffness, I feel like both Ethan and Zach are doing that TV actor and TikTok hot guy thing where they push the fake smile to the point of a borderline sneer. It reminds me of like a hyena getting ready to eat Mufasa's corpse. With all due respect to men and the cartoon villains who they resemble. They're like this. This is how you know someone doesn't smile too much in real life. They get a part in a Christmas movie and they're like, oh my God, it's so cute how you know how to hang up ornaments. Or on TikTok, they'll be like, I used to be stupid and ugly, but now I'm hot and hot. Just because 3 people with no friends said you have a beautiful smile, it doesn't mean you need to make it look Alice in Wonderland scary. Just saying. Am I the world's biggest hater? That can't be because Santa has me on his good list, because I sucked his In the next scene, we open on the wife at her job at the news station, where she's meeting with the producer to talk about the news.
You know what they say about the early bird?
That she's not super confident walking in heels? Mama, the natural disaster hasn't even occurred yet, and you're already breaking your ankle and slowing everything down. What if there's a shag carpet that we have to walk across? I'll have to Dwayne The Rock Johnson you over my shoulder and carry you. Another way that this resembles San Andreas, but also many Roland Emmerich films that share the same themes. A strained relationship between the main leading man, in this case, Ethan, who is played by Casper Van Dien, by the way, who was in like Interview with a Vampire. His career was a little bit brighter in the earlier years, or like more illustrious, I guess. Either way, like in San Andreas, The Rock was divorced from his wife because their daughter had died, one of them. And in this one, they're thinking of getting divorced because he kind of suspects her of being unfaithful. However, in this shot, we find out she's kind of not unfaithful. It's just work drama.
You tell Ethan about New York? It's a big 3 affiliate, 6 o'clock desk. They've won 5 Emmys.
It's a huge opportunity for both of us, Addison.
Honey, I say just go with the hot dad from Desperate Housewives. You don't even like the way your current husband's mouth smells in the morning, and he specifically had you write vows saying you'd be okay with that forever. That probably would have been a good time to ask gently if he had some family history of gum disease he was insecure about. But now you're stuck with it. So this co-anchor of Addison, named Logan, played by Richard Burgi, he's trying to get her to move to New York, but she's like, no, Texas is our home. We left Chicago, and he's like, well, you didn't really have a choice. More on that later. So we know that her family has some sort of cross to bear, which is similar to, yep, that's basically, it's the movie 2012, which came out in 2009, Roland Emmerich, as well as, I wanna say The Day After Tomorrow with Dennis Quaid. His character was like a science predictor who was wrong. Paul Giamatti in San Andreas, like there's always a scientist who gets the prediction wrong at some point and then has to fight against the stigma of his incorrect prediction back when the real danger comes. It's a lot of movies together. Nobody at the news station is taking that diner tornado seriously though, when the scientists know that's not the end of it.
December temperatures are typically, too mild to produce strong storm systems, except thanks to climate change, the ocean temperature is 5 degrees warmer.
He's me forcing the Green Jobs Initiative into my video about Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century. You guys are like, I'm just watching a video about a movie I used to watch at sleepovers. I come in like, and the fact that there even is weather disproportionately affects women and women of color due to institutionalized racism and misogyny, stemming all the way back to the Greek god Zeus. I know he's got the beard of Santa and the body of Ron Perlman, but that doesn't mean we have to submit to him outside of the bedroom. Weather equality, boo, 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 Zeus grew Greek.
Thanks to years of abuse, the environment has finally reached a breaking point. Looks like tornado season's coming early.
The good thing about this movie is that it never gets too overtly preachy or heavy-handed with its scientific message, as long as you watch it on mute and without subtitles, and you can't read lips. Actually, even then, we're still seeing a lot more weather maps than climate deniers can usually handle. I think this is officially the most politically left-leaning thing I've ever found on PureFlix. I hope watching this movie literally gave some racist old man a heart attack. What? I said he was racist. That's bad for your heart. Whatever. I just made fun of myself for it, but I'm gonna say it again. Obviously, the message wasn't heavy-handed enough for our government to listen back in 2012, because here we are, almost 2022, and it no longer makes sense for our focus to be on preventing climate change, because climate change is now inevitable. If you listen to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which you should. Basically, now it's all about responding in a way that best prepares the Earth for those changes and preventing the worst of disasters from happening. Ways we can do this would be by getting to a net zero carbon emissions economy by 2050. They want to get greenhouse gas emissions to 50 to 52% lower than they were in 2005. Ugh, that sounds so long ago now. I was literally 14. The air was clean. There are big pushes happening, like the previously mentioned Build Back Better initiative, that are trying to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 1 gigaton by the 2030s. We're gonna have multiple presidents by then, so I feel like we all use energy and we all consume technology. It's vital that we call on our government bodies to use these parts of the economy to leverage green initiatives, because if the economy is not green, then the country is never going to be green in a sustainable way. Vote green. Oh, you son of a bitch, vote green. Not Green Party, but vote for green. People care about green, the color green. Forest Green! Forrest Gump. Free association time. No, let's go back to the movie. The weather is giving people the false news. Fake news.
Things should start to improve into the morning hours.
Things should start to improve?
You into next
Someone's
week.
gotta tell them they're wrong.
Exception.
And there's only one man who can spread the message to every house in one night. It's the little Saint Nick, little Saint Nick. It's the little Saint Nick, little Saint Nick. But not really, because this country has a surprising amount of restricted airspace, and Santa keeps getting shot down by anti-aircraft missiles over the Nevada desert for some reason. But don't worry, luckily Santa is magic, so he can never die. Although unfortunately, he also cannot sleep or pass out and can feel all pain. As you can imagine, Christmas has started to become a pretty traumatic time of year for him. So don't forget to leave out those cookies, kids. And if your grandma has any oxys, maybe crush a couple of those into the milk. Mrs. Claus will thank you. He becomes verbally abusive. Ethan calls his wife Addison and is like, you gotta say the right thing, you dumb weather lady.
Would you please just let him do his job?
The guy's a personal trainer with a weather map. I'm looking at 3 different satellites.
Oh, sorry, Dr. Cloud. Say that line again and I'll try to laugh at it at the right time.
The guy's a personal trainer with a weather map.
What a funny, normal guy with normal looking hair. I came in a little early, but I think we still stroked all the right nerves for an actor. Let's continue. The wife is not having the husband. She's like, do you want a repeat of what happened? And I'm like, what happened? Tell me now. I wanna know, bah, bah, bah. So, I mean, that's some effective story writing. I like that they don't just give you all of the info right off the bat. However, they do still give us all of the info just through conversations. And I mean, there's plenty of ways to divulge information without that type of exposition, but they don't want to do that.
What happened in Chicago?
Let's just say that his theories on climate change haven't always been accurate.
No, let's not just say that, since it actually begs further questions. Chloe is gonna be on your ass about this until you give her some concrete answers. She's a communications major, and her mom had zero boundaries with her growing up. Welcome to the Journalism Thunderdome, baby doll. So with a little bit of apprehension, Addison goes on the air and just like continues purveying the myth that everything is gonna be fine. Meanwhile, her children are at home getting ready for school. I think I just put lip gloss all over my face. That's what I get for putting on lip gloss out of sheer boredom.
In other news, Fort Worth is preparing for their annual holiday parade tonight, and Santa Claus himself will be serving as Grand Marshal.
I'm not sure if this movie is following its own timeline as well as I am, because that tornado hit the diner at 11:30 p.m., but Addison Walker was not called into work until 2:30 a.m., and everyone was like, oh, we gotta get on fast. It's this breaking news report about this tornado. But now she's not on air until her regularly scheduled 7:30 a.m. time slot. So wouldn't she need to wake up at 2:30 every day just to do the news? I hope she's checking her sources or something during that 5 hours, because this hair and makeup did not take more than 30 minutes. And if I were her, I would only curl the front sections of my hair. There are no cameras back here. It can be still damp from the shower, looking like a bird's nest. It can be looking like a condor's nest. Looking like a condor's nest. Oh, the way that I just hurt my own neck. The kids, oh, the kids. Time to meet the kids.
What am I doing for lunch?
Who am I, Mom? You're not capable of slapping a couple pieces of bread together?
Mom makes paninis.
Buy a panini.
They're not the same as Mom's.
I don't know if this little idiot has ever even had a panini from Panera Bread, but it's gonna be much better than whatever your mom's making. The amount of butter and salt that goes into one of those sandwiches could never be achieved if made by someone who loves you. I'm also going to be mean to Max because he speaks like someone with a 12th grade reading level, so he should definitely have the kitchen skills to make a panini exactly the way his mother does. Just like his sister styles her hair exactly the way her mother does. I've worked on a lot of low budget movies, okay? And I know what it's like to be a makeup artist who doesn't do hair. And it was basically just like blowouts and curling the hair for everybody. I was like, all right, you're all gonna have one of two slightly different looking hairstyles, but hey, there will be no flyaways as long as we go easy on the backlight. So kids are going to school and Ethan is worried. He catches on that his mom might be thinking of getting divorced or taking a job in New York. So that kind of reminded me of Jurassic World 2014.
Doesn't feel like Christmas.
Yeah, that's called growing old enough to understand the sadness of life. But don't worry, later in life, you'll learn to compartmentalize those sad feelings and feel a little bit more present for the holidays. It could also take hundreds of hours of therapy and several rounds of inpatient treatment, and that's okay. I mean, your parents are contemplating divorce. That instinct was correct. So have fun at middle school. The teachers are faces, the math is hard, the chairs are cold, the food sucks, you have constipation, you're going through puberty. It's like a depression factory in this country. No wonder kids hate themselves. Okay, it's time to get some action going. We're gonna meet the first guy who meets his demise from these Christmas twistness.
Wow.
Wow, tornado, wow. So this guy, apparently living in Texas, doesn't know what a tornado is because he waits until it's fully touched down before he decides, oh, I should get out of here. And of course his car doesn't start.
Come on!
With no disrespect to the dead, at least it seems kind of fun once you get in the air. Why is the tornado blowing at over 150 miles per hour? He's hovering around in there like it's purgatory. Does he weigh as much as a train? And as I said, this movie tends to lift a lot of things slowly into the air, so it would be nice to see the Twister have some other creative kills. I would have loved if it showed him running away from the car and then the Twister sucked up his truck right as he jumps out of it, so you're like, whoa, it's so huge! And then all of a sudden the Twister sucks back up into the sky faster than you could ever believe. So like, these are like flash twisters that'll touch down anywhere and then disappear just as fast. So then he's like, oh, I made it. And then boom, his truck lands on him. That would be funny and exciting and creative and cool. Do that, do that, do that. And they have other heavy objects falling using CGI. So I'm not suggesting they actually use a crane to drop a truck. That would be how I would do it. Like, I would reserve some budget for a couple cool practical effects or pay for them myself, honestly. Like, seriously, gotta drop a truck on a guy. I'd be like, you can use my dad's truck. He doesn't care. The team is freaking out because of the twisters.
I think you're right. I think there's some bad mojo coming off the storm.
Would you look at that?
Oh, a person who didn't know if an F2 was high or low 30 minutes ago is suddenly ready to give the AccuView weather forecast at the top of the hour. Would you look at that? Would who look at that? Everyone in the room is looking at who are you talking to? Why don't I believe you? If I got a weird line like that didn't make sense as an actress and I was playing Chloe here, at this point I would try to give a take where I like played it up even more as though like I didn't know what I was talking about, but I was trying to. Like if it showed Zach and Ethan both being like, oh my gosh, and then Madeline standing over their shoulder like, would you look at that? Because she, you know, is new. She doesn't quite know it yet. I think that would be a little more consistent with the character, but it's also confusing that the script didn't keep the character consistent. Like she's talking like she knows weather when before she just had to have everything explained to her. If I get something like that as an actor, I would make it funny. I would make it part of the joke until the director says not to do that because they want to make it worse.
If this is the case, then why isn't anyone else picking up on it?
Because they're using outdated forecast models.
I don't think forecast models are the problem. If this news station still doesn't know about a tornado even after it's touched down and sucked up one of the only openly gay farmers in this whole city. I'm assuming he's gay because the way he fell on the ground while running from that tornado gave big bottom energy. He said, oh, 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 twisty. Ooh. I'm just kidding. Maybe he's not gay. Maybe he's just gay for tornadoes. But we'll never know because he's dead. He is dead, god damn it. The mom is so stoic in this scene. I'm like, girl, are you acting at all? Like, you sound like you're actually trying not to bother people at work.
Look, Ethan, I know that this is your issue, that climate change is affecting the weather, but...
No, it's all of our issue. You'll know more about that soon when there's a tornado sucking your up. If she's trying to be secretive and quiet because she doesn't want people to know that she's talking to her crackpot husband, I wish she could be like ducking behind something and like looking around at people as they pass, being like, I can't talk about this right now. I have to trust what the people at my work say, our satellite. I just want there to be more levels to her performance because right now it just feels like a bland conversation.
Where are you?
I'm on my way to get the kids.
Are you sure that's a good idea? I mean, it's the last day before winter break. I think they have a lot of work to do.
Okay, now you're just being intentionally stubborn. Everyone knows that's not true about the last day before winter break. Those kids are watching Planet Earth in every class. No wonder their marriage is on the rocks. This woman is openly doubting the tornado predictions of her husband, who is a doctor of tornado predictions. How damaging must that be to him? He got his doctorate in weather biology, chronology, hotel, motel, Holiday Inn, and you still don't believe a single word he says about the big sky swirl. Just listen to her go.
Where are you? Where are you gonna take them? How far out are you?
Geez, Lois Lane, what's with the 20 stone-faced questions? I just told you your children's lives are in peril. Ethan is going to pick up his kids because he knows shit's about to go down. Ben won't stop bothering her. Is that his name? Logan. Is there anyone named Ben in this? They're all named Ben.
Do I need to remind you what happened last time? They evacuated an entire town. There were thousands of people, Laddie, and nothing happened.
Okay, but is anyone really going to be mad that they had to abandon their house and pets in a panic, then to find out later that none of it's actually going to be destroyed? And if this was such a big issue, why is the emergency evacuation system dependent on one scientist's unverified findings? You either had faith in his data models or you didn't, okay? I don't even know what a data model is. How did I just learn weather? What is a data model and where did it come from? I wish I could be a data model and I just show you spreadsheets with my boobs out. Boobs out. That's how I sound. Boobs out, weather with my boobs out, enjoying the hot summer weather with my boobs out. That's the hottest song of summer. Boobs out, weather hot, living my life, going to the beach where my boobs look nice. Ugh, the sister was dropping her brother off to school. He called her out, he's like, you're not going to school, you don't have your backpack. And she was like, if you tell dad, I'll kill you. So she goes to the mall, skipping school to meet up with her friend.
Gosh, I almost gave up on you. I swear I am never having kids, ever. I hate you.
Sound like you're in desperate need of a lemonade.
Oh, nothing says authentic teen dialogue like having them discuss a non-mood altering soft drink in the same way adults would talk about alcohol or a cocktail. Nobody talks about beverages like that. Even teenagers, they would just talk about alcohol like that. We've already been over this in my review of Lemonade Mouth, but lemonade is not kid beer. It also goes for those sketchy babies in Rugrats when they treated milk as though it was Scotch whiskey in those cowboy fantasy episodes. That's your mom's breast milk. You're not getting drunk off that. You're getting calories and omega-3s, I think. I don't know. Why am I Bill Nye right now? It seems like one of the reasons the daughter, whose name is Caitlin, one of the reasons they're at the mall is to meet her crush, Brian.
So you're sure Brian is supposed to be here? Okay, newsflash. A hot 17-year-old jock asked for help with his homework. He's looking for more than just a friend, okay?
I'm looking for cups that have actual liquid in them. Props had time to cover those Coca-Cola logos up, but not pour some lukewarm Sprite from the craft services table in there for you. Also, I'm not saying this is what happened, but it kind of reads like the actress who plays Lexi was laughing at the kid who started screaming in the middle of that take, but then they used it anyway for realism.
A hot 17-year-old jock asked for help with his homework. He's looking for more than just a friend, okay?
She looked off screen like, are we gonna cut or should I just keep acting through that kid's no Happy Meal meltdown? Oh, the shopping mall is kicking us out after this shot? I'll keep going then. The girls even go and get a Christmas photo. This is like, again, one of the only Christmas activities they wedged in there.
Santa's gonna get you a date.
So Sean, we got a complaint today that the elf at Santa's Village was being visibly annoyed with the customers getting their pictures taken. I would maybe ask this actor to pull back on his reaction shot so that it's not the most distracting thing in this scene. Completely pointless scene, by the way. We could have brought the Santa thing back in multiple times with the rest of the movie, but we don't. Next, we're gonna meet up with some storm chapers.
Telling you, man, this is the right spot. She's out there.
Well, maybe you're reading that thing wrong.
And you read it, man.
Hey, look!
That damn tornado is so sneaky. They should be legally required to make a noise for safety purposes, like when I back up my Prius. Just like the writers of this film, I don't know any more about storm chasing than the untrue information provided by the movie Twister. But I'm still pretty confused about how they were using a paper map to find the perfect spot for a tornado to touch down. Is there a particular field where inclement weather is known to graze Blue Eyes? The guys get out of their car right as they see a crazy demonstration of this storm's power. Great, looks like I won't be getting my sister's custom cookie cutters in time for Christmas. God damn it! Just kidding. Where's my tree? Again, those trains seem like they just picked up the empty cars full of no human storage goods. Just one of the ways that they keep the death toll really low in this movie. Back at the office, we have Addison talking to one of her pregnant coworkers, Deb, who adds some, you know, emotional stakes to the thing because we don't want a pregnant woman to get hurt.
5-minute warning.
Thanks, George.
Break a leg.
Was that the ghost of gay George Washington dropping by to show you support before the show? Because we hardly ever see or hear from this character again. It feels like they just put him here because he provides a small piece of exposition later in the script. Combine some of these characters. What? Because we could have used speaking roles at the mall to help build that world out, but we'll talk about that later. Once Ethan picks up his son, Max is like, my sister's not at school.
He doesn't know.
Do you have any idea where she could be?
Well, she's a 17-year-old girl and it's 2 days to Christmas. Where do you think she might be?
The mall.
Why does this part of Texas have to be trapped in the late 80s and early 90s, the height of America's mall obsession? I'm gonna stay true to myself by loudly and perhaps recklessly blaming Republicans. You Trump-sucking sacks of shit can eat my gay ass. But it's not just that the red parts of Texas are stuck in the past. It's also these borderline boomer screenwriters who think they have the finger on the pulse. Like, yes, but it's the pulse of 1930s TV and radio actress Mary Ward. And she turns 106 this year, so 99.9% of kids won't know what you're talking about. The dad calls the sister at the mall and he's like, I'm coming to pick you up. And she's like, why? And then the phone cuts out, which is why you should give the important news first and be like, there's a storm coming, you need to get in the basement. These people, townsfolk, know what's up. Looks like those future soldiers just heard their future calling, and it's the sound of air raid sirens. Start your future at GoArmy.com. Recruiting commercials love talking about the future. They're like, choose your own adventure. Death, sexual assault, or battle-related PTSD. The future is yours. Well, I don't want it anymore. I don't want my future. If it's been chewed up and spit out by the military-industrial complex, you ruined it. I'll just take option D and go into crippling debt to pay for college. What a lovely utopia we live in. The tornado hits the town, and we get some bad CGI of it destroying the town, some bad day to night effects as well, and then this confusing moment.
Caitlin!
Quick, somebody open the door!
Seems like you could do that if you really wanted. You're standing right there, Caitlin. I'm not sure why, but yes, that is what happened. And you just sat there and watched it. It's like you sacrificed your crush to the Christums Twister. And now you're gonna be the dead older sister. Rhymes. And a partridge in a pear tree. They could have easily moved around some of those speaking roles from The Office, like with gay George Washington, brought him here and made him some sort of mall manager who like locks the doors and then they're like fighting with him to get them open, but he runs away. So then he drops the keys and they're struggling to find the right key. Like all of that could be good. And then they have to back away and he's like, get away from the window. And they're like, no. But even beyond that, how much does locking the doors of the mall really help protect anyone in there from twisters? It seems like you're gonna be in a good place. That's a huge structure. Like just get in the middle of the mall. They're like, you mean stand underneath the glass? Not the old Navy supermodelkins getting their own close-up to juxtapose the mortal terror. Those are custom designed characters, so you'll be hearing from my lawyer. That's right, my real name is Oldriana Navy, and I discovered the tech that went into the tech vest, the most iconic fashion statement of my 7th grade class. I wish they could have done something with a practical effect here to make that window breaking more exciting. Like if they had some rubber glass, which is really cheap, they could have rigged it up there with a tarp really easily and just had someone drop it, so like, oh, all of a sudden they're running and this glass rains down and they have to miss it. Or they could have gone even bigger, but still not crazy, and gotten a big sheet, or like 2 big sheets for safety, of safety glass, and dropped it as they're running in front of it so that we see this big rainfall of shattering glass come, and that would have been so cool. But the practical effects are really where they missed the boat for me on this movie. Like, you even see out in front of the mall, there's a tornado hitting the mall and the palm tree next to it is not moving. This is how we don't marry CGI effects with practical effects, because even if you didn't notice that upon first watch, your brain is subconsciously taking in all of these factors that prevent you from suspending your disbelief enough. For example, you see that there are harsh daylight shadows while they've tried to color it to look like it's cloudy, and then you see a cyclone but nothing's blowing around. There's no physical paper or people with their hair blowing to sell it. Those are details that take a lot of extra time and money. But shots like this still manage to be pretty cool with just CGI, so, you know, you get what you get. That's how it would feel to be living inside of a gingerbread house on my kitchen table. Because I break that sucker down within minutes of the royal icing starting to dry. Try not to get too settled in, cookie family, because it's your rooftop for dessert, and then for breakfast, I'm eating you and your children's faces with coffee. And that's just the Christmas food chain, Crunchy John. I'm sorry about it. It's the way your body crumbles. This is, again, why I think the kids are in a really safe place. Sorry, lady, but Jared Fogle over here said, F your daughter. What's the purpose of apprehending this concerned mother like there's stormtroopers taking her away? Again, I think this moment was scripted with the screenwriter imagining a more flooded hallway, so she's sort of caught up with the flow of people and carried away. It would have been a little more believable than those two guys would be like, hi, lady. No, you're not looking for your daughter. Like, what do you care if she runs out there? If you can't save everyone. I would have probably just cut this part if I didn't have enough extras to sell it, and then waited till the girls are in the shelter before the mom starts being like, Madison, where's my daughter? I thought she was here. And then that can be motivating Caitlin to go out and find her, because throughout the movie, they try to make it seem like Max and Caitlin both get this like heroic quality from their dad, which again, is a chemistry kind of stolen from Jake Gyllenhaal and Dennis Quaid's character in The Day After Tomorrow. Roland Emmerich movies always deal with like a father-son relationship or father-daughter. Either way, a father's strained relationship will come into play. And they're trying to do that here. After the tornado passes, they show some real stock footage of like a tornado swept place, and it just ruins it even more because it's clearly the day after a tornado when you see like repair vehicles driving around and people going about their business, so it just doesn't feel like a post-apocalyptic scene. Like, why don't I hear sirens or people screaming or, you know, fires burning? That would tell me that there's chaos going around.
I'm gonna go check. Okay.
Not Chloe being like, okay, does it look like I give up?
I'm gonna go check. Okay.
She said, Caitlin, wait, before you go, will you bring me back an Auntie Anne's pretzel, cinnamon sugar flavor? When Caitlin gets out, she sees that woman's daughter who went missing. We later find out she's trapped under a balsa wood picket fence. And we have this twice in the movie. When Brian was standing outside, the mall sign fell over and like landed harmlessly in front of him, while also kind of messing up the scale. Like, he seems like he's half the size of that sign. And then here, the sign is supposedly about to fall on these girls where she's trapped, but it doesn't look like it's directly over them, and it's also clearly a miniature.
It's okay. Now come on, come to me. What's What's your name?
Anna.
Okay, Anna. I need you to be brave. Can you be brave for me?
You're talking to Anna like she's a child when she's fully in your advanced chemistry class. She's like, yeah, thanks, I know about being brave. I say that to my 3-year-old son all the time. Also, I love Caitlin being like, come here. Can you come? She's like stroking her wristbands like she can't reach, like, mama, she's in front of you. One thing I've learned making low budget movies is that it's a lot harder than you might think to find the right actors who match what you were picturing in your head. Particularly when you're trying to get a really young actor and you have no budget. And because of how movies are made, it can be really hard for a filmmaker to be on set and be like, all right, this is not looking like what the script is saying, so we need to change the script to make it make sense. It can be hard to pivot like that on set, especially when you don't have time, and time comes with budget. That's kind of what I love about filmmaking, is that on the day, it's just constant problem solving. You know, nothing is gonna turn out quite like you planned, and it's your job to work within those parameters or adapt and be creative in a way that still helps you tell your story. I love it. I also notice when it's not being done in the way that I would. And also that could be annoying on a movie when like the director was doing something that I'm like, well, why wouldn't they just change that line to make it make more sense? But you know, I'm on the makeup department, so you can't really say any. That's the other thing about being on movies, is you have to stay in your lane. Nobody wants your opinion if that's not your department. So it can lead to some like frustration. You're like, why is that actor saying it weird? I just want to tell that actor how to say it normal, but you can't tell an actor how to act, especially if you're not the director. Anyway, Caitlin saves Anna from the sign, and Ethan gets to the mall to look for his daughter.
Have you seen my daughter? Have you seen my daughter? Have you seen my daughter? She's...
Not this single line of survivors looking like a group of kids coming in from recess where they played tag. It's like he's waiting for his luggage at the airport. Have you seen my daughter? Have you seen my daughter? Have you seen my daughter? I don't know, but there's lots of bloody, shaken up young women in this line, so maybe just be patient and see what passes. He's finally reunited with Caitlin, and then when they get back out to the car, Max.
Max? Well, I told him to wait right here.
Okay, well, did you also tell that to every child abductor in the metropolitan area? Because that's also a factor here. I only wish I was kidding, but they are called predators for a reason. And people have historically used natural disasters like Hurricane Katrina as an opportunity to human traffic and abduct children who were either separated from their parents or orphaned by the flooding. Even kidnapping already orphaned children from before the flood, where there's gonna be less people looking for them if they're assumed dead. It's sad. But Ethan, again, he's running around looking for his son.
Have you seen my son? He's 12 years old, he's got red hair, he's wearing a Texas shirt.
That guy's like, I haven't seen him, but I can dye my hair red and put on a Texas shirt, and it's a win-win for both of us. Daddy, can we go to McDonald's on the way home? Ethan's officially terrorizing the survivors.
See my son?
No, sorry.
He's got red hair, he's only 12, he's this big.
Look at where his hand is right now. He thinks his 12-year-old son is 2 feet tall. Sir, we saw you pick him up from school and he was up to your shoulder. And either way, you're currently describing a baby to a toddler, so I don't think we should expect Amber Alert levels of success from your search method. Also, it was probably shot on a completely different day and the casting was already set, but that's the age of the girl who should have played Anna, trapped under that wreckage. She's young enough to be like, can you be brave, sweetie? Okay, so Ethan finds this girl wearing the Texas shirt and he's like, where'd you get that shirt? That's my son's. And she's like, he wanted me to be warm. He went inside to go look for my grandpa. So that's how we know Max is a hero. And Ethan goes in and finds him. Guess what?
Max, can you hear me? Can you hear me? You okay? Can you move?
Thank goodness all of this ceiling debris just fell into a harmless tent-like structure that landed gently around his lower body, causing him to take a deep nap. This is the second time we've seen survivors effortlessly slide out from under some wreckage with their legs not so much as having a twisted toe. And in my house, it's not officially Christmas until I see a compound fracture. It's the reason every year I give my nieces and nephews ball-peen hammers. Don't worry, if they're too young, I just put it away in a trust fund. That way by the time they turn 7, they'll already have a closet full of hammers. In this next scene where Ethan is heroically carrying Max out of the wreckage, even though we'll see him walking on his own in just a minute, I really get a feel for, I guess, the less than creative way that this movie is shot. This is clearly meant to be a really dramatic slow motion shot that looks heroic. I don't get that. They did it. They got their 2-for-1 bootcut jeans at the Gap Super Cyclone Savings event. I feel like they should have shot this at a higher frame rate so that it slowed down even more. And usually when you show people walking in slow motion like this, you wanna like really blur the background, get them surrounded by out of focus scenery so that you're just focusing on the beauty. It's also really dark, so the background would have been dark regardless. I wish they could have just like figured out how to do this so that he was doing it in the sunlight or baked sunlight with like a big light. I also don't think that the chaos going around them makes sense for where they are in the location. I feel like all of these survivors have head injuries because they're just slowly wandering back and forth across this narrow alleyway. Attention, if you're not moving away from the collapsing building, you have a concussion. Come see me for an ice pack. Of course, Caitlin is so relieved to see her family and they give us a Baywatch moment.
Don't you ever do that to me again.
Dad made me tell him about you skipping school.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about because I'm too distracted by that tiny season 1 of Gossip Girl bow that's clipped to your head. Perched up there, I thought you had a cockroach stuck in your hair. As someone who's spent many hours teaching myself how to cry on cue in the mirror for crazy reasons, I recognize Caitlin's doing the move here where she squints really hard to wring out any accumulated eye moisture or the Visine drops that she put in there before they called action. I'm gonna show you. You can take eye drops like this or a tear stick, which is like a menthol stick, which just causes your eyes to water. Put it in, call action. Max, don't you ever do that to me again. That's not what I mean. See, that looks real. Happy tears. Max. That's how I would do it. They would be like, you're fired. Do I legit look like I've been crying right now? Wow, she's so delicate. And it's acting. Oh shit, I'm wearing mascara. Gay people problems. Oh, let's do it real big then. We might as well go all out. We've been in a tornado. I'm gonna put the drops on top of my lashes and that's how we get some tear stains. You really wanna play it up. Max, don't you ever leave me. Okay, now for the rest of the video, remember this is not how I did my makeup. I've been crying because of my dead brother. Okay, the dog survives. I forgot to even tell you they had a dog. People at the laboratory, they're like, oh my god, there's another big twister coming. But I think now that the daughter's been in trouble, the wife back at the news station is completely on board. She's like, oh, my husband's right. She's like, oh my god, Logan is going out to the field to report on this storm because he loves getting big ratings, even though I'm like, didn't he hate this? Like, it would be cool if he was like, oh, New York is gonna be so impressed if I cover the biggest storm, that a Christmas Eve twister, so I'm gonna get out there. And she's like, no, don't, it's dangerous. And he's like, listen, if you wanna be stuck in this whole town forever, that's fine, but don't hold me back. I'm going. We don't get that though. So she's like trying to tell the producer, she's like, my husband is saying that there's gonna be a big storm, it's dangerous. And she's like, your husband's an idiot. But of course, then this happens. Now I'm like so paranoid that Christmas Twister was ripped off by 2015's San Andreas because the sketchy, weaselly guy who was the new stepdad in that movie eventually got crushed by a shipping container after like abandoning the daughter and killing people selfishly all through the movie. I also hate this scene because you can see the green screen like reflecting on his skin, which happens easily when you just bring the green screen out to the location and put it up so that you can like match the lighting on the guy's face. And then they just try to bounce it around to make the green screen as even as possible, but you're gonna get a lot of bounce back onto him. So you get that color spill. I hate, it makes him look sickly. That Texas talking producer is so upset because her orders got Logan killed on camera. The whole news audience saw.
You don't think there's some way that maybe he could have survived?
No.
She said, no, sweetie. And as the executive producer who sent him there, you will be charged for his manslaughter. Cuff him, boys. Also, does no one care about the camera operator who clearly died too? That's pretty rude. I mean, I know he didn't have any lines, but he was still really memorable due to the strong liberties he took with his face acting. He really went in with that gum chewing. He must have a bovine strain in his ancestry. Is that okay to say? I know it's not okay to call people animals, but if you chew like a cow, I'm not gonna say you look like a bird. The whole weather station is evacuating because the tornado, I swear, this tornado is just chasing Ethan's family. It's like, I didn't get to kill your son or your daughter, stupidly, so I'm gonna go kill your wife now. Like, he's got a vengeance. While they're all evacuating, Caitlin realizes, oh, Deb, the pregnant assistant, is not up here because she went downstairs to find a CB radio for her. Is it CB or CV? I don't care. So, of course, this is a very heroic family, so Caitlin has to go down into the basement to help, even though, you know, call an emergency worker. You said you haven't been getting to the gym that much, you lying. Then you go and move that steel rebar like it was just a cardboard box that some curtain rods came in. Oh, that's what it is. Well, I still don't really trust you. I mean, did you set your hair and makeup with epoxy resin this morning? The glam job seems to be tornado proof. So if that's just Urban Decay all-nighter spray, they're gonna want to get a testimonial for you for their Instagram reels. At long last, we find Deb, and you can guess what kind of situation she found herself in.
Joanna, are you down here? I'm in here.
Joanna!
I'm in here.
Joanna, are you okay?
Help.
All right, Addison, just calm down. What would that brave husband of yours do? Help the pregnant lady stand up. It's just crazy enough to work. I'll start lifting these concrete slabs. I'm coming, Addison. So these two news reporters are escaping from the smoke right as Ethan arrives at the station to help. We're getting there, folks. Just a few more minutes.
Come on. I need air or I'm gonna pass out.
And I would love to see it, Deb, but not when somebody has to drag your body out of here. You're already packing on an extra 30 pounds of embryonic fluid and baby pulp in that abdomen. Also, to breathe better when escaping a fire, I was taught to crawl beneath the smoke, but I think it's an automatic TV MA rating if you show a pregnant lady get on their knees. It is sick what the people in this country will touch themselves to. Anyway, I think that advice only applies to black smoke, not the rave-like haze being produced by their off-screen fog machine. Thank God for Ethan, always asking the right questions to the right passerby.
Deb, where's Addison?
She went to go look for Joanna like 20 minutes ago.
He's now 3 for 3 when it comes to finding his family's missing members by just standing outside of a building and asking people. If you can't figure out where they are for yourself, then maybe they don't deserve to survive. But he obviously runs down into the basement to save them. Oh, okay. It looks like they've now stumbled into one of Freddy Krueger's nightmares, so probably further away from the fire. By the time Ethan gets down there, Deb has passed out. She's suffocating. I think professional emergency workers would first try to remove the person from the burning structure before resuscitating them. It's a little stressful to come back from your brief dip into brain deadness, only to be in the same life-threatening situation. I would be like, all right, use 2 people to carry me, lift with your knees, donk! But they finally escape without ever seeing a single flame. That guy's like, lady, no, this is keyboard cleaner. What are you doing? This woman is a junkie for air, snagging that oxygen mask like it's an extra week of maternity leave. And we clearly only had 1 oxygen mask prop for everyone to go along with the 0 EMT uniforms. I know when someone's wearing a construction worker outfit when I see it. Thanks to Magic Mike. I can't believe we all survived. Back at the lab, these kids are wrapping things up too.
For there, partner.
The real pandemic is the weird way that people's lips look in movies when they kiss, especially from the side. You're treating her like she's an emergency oxygen regulator on a scuba dive. You shouldn't be doing anything that requires an airtight seal.
You know, nothing ever happened between Logan and me.
I do.
Nothing ever happened between Logan and her. I wasn't even thinking that. I thought he just wanted you to take a transfer to New York.
He wanted us to take a transfer to New York.
Okay, so I was right. The movie never did really imply to Ethan that his wife was being unfaithful. Putting something like that in might have made this moment feel a little more earned. I mean, I don't even think it was earned for them to survive. I would have loved if the whole family had been blown out into the open sea. Also, maybe if the husband had seen like a letter, maybe like an offer letter from this New York job, or, you know, someone on air caught them like, you know, talking about something, you know, something where he got the feeling like, oh, my wife really is leaving me or whatever, or doesn't love me, and then, you know, this would feel better, but whatever. Just kiss. Like, I'm sorry, but that's the way my mouth would look if you held out an apple to me and had me eat it from your hand like a horse. Mwah. See? Would it be so hard to just actually make out with another actor? Especially before COVID. Oh, my apple. Did one of those horses win a walk-on role in this movie from some sort of Danimals yogurt contest? It's a long shot of some horses. Also, we show these glamorous oil rigs in a movie with heavy messages about global warming. Does not compute. You can't knock Humpty Dumpty off that wall. Merry Christmas, Jesus the Christ, Humpty the Dumpty the third egg, the second coming, the sequel. We know the family's gonna be okay because they're barbecuing. Ah, room temperature meats, just like the whole family loves. Kids, get out of the pool. That chlorine is no good for the tapeworms. They couldn't have put a sizzling sound effect for that grill or use that smog machine, whatever.
I'm first. Yes. No, stop it.
Kids, no fighting when your sister's breasts aren't being properly supported or protected. It's weird that I even have to tell you. Let's get a montage of glamour shots of all of the kids. Yes, they used our best take of those chicken bites. The only reason I know this is not a Hidden Valley Ranch commercial is because Hidden Valley would know it looks cheap to use plastic forks on camera. They said, no, they're red holiday forks. It's a Christmas movie. That's a fun reveal. Oh, by the way, the housekeeper's family called, asking if they could get her body out of the collapsed guest room. But I told them, don't even worry about it. We're gonna be in a hotel until January when the repairs start anyway, so we'll just send them a text when it freezes solid and we can drag it out to the front yard for pickup. And then she hung up the phone crying. Really bad service. Anyway, I love you, honey. Let's make out in front of the kids some more. And that's all she wrote for Christmas Twister, the twistiest Christmas ride on sound. Again, the acting wasn't bad, but that almost makes me more sad when I'm like, the acting is right. And if they could have just put a little more attention towards minor details in the story, it would have not had so many logic errors. But let me know what you think. And should we cover any more disaster films on this channel? Let me know in the comments below. Also, give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns from me. And don't forget to click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on notifications and you'll always be the first to know when we're biting apple faces. Ow. Also, I've got merch available and a Patreon where you can access exclusive clips, episodes, and bonus watch parties. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you so much for watching with me. I'll see you next time.